Okay, now if you look at this project, the one of the first things I love to do is what I call sequence. Sequence deals with the arrangement of the song. So I make use of the timeline markers, and all these things you're seeing here are the timeline markers. You can see this, you can see these, you can see these things there. So these are the timeline markers. I use them to mark the sequence and the arrangement of the song, because I don't love anything, I don't want anything that stresses my mind. So I try as much as possible to cut off stress. So with this, when you look at the project, or when I look at the project, I don't find it difficult to know which section is, whatever it is. All right. Okay, so the sequence of a song is very, very important to me, and it matters so much to me. All right, so now you have the intro, we have the verse, we have the chorus. Don't mind my spelling of the chorus. This is how I personally chose to customize chorus. All right, so you have the chorus, you have another chorus, you have interlude, you have the verse, you have another chorus, and you have what I call the ending. Okay, so the part I just played now is the last chorus of the song, which personally I love to make it the biggest part of the song. Okay, so now going from the intro, let me just play the intro for you a little. All right, so what did I use for this intro and why? First of all, I made use of a pad, a warm pad. I made use of a warm pad. All right, now what you're hearing is not just one particular sound. I layered two sounds. One is more like a warm pad, and the other is more like a brighter pad. And this is the warm pad. And here is the bright one. So when you combine the two together, okay, so the reason is because the warm pad actually gives me the fuller kind of fuller ambience, and then the brighter one now gives me that brightness that I need to saturate the music, to saturate the sound. Okay, now the next thing I actually added is another strings. I added the strings to more like a symphony, strings that gives more like the melody line of the intro that I need. Can you see that? So I started with something brighter on the higher octave, and then towards somewhere here I added something lower to give it, because that is actually another more like the fuller part of the intro. Okay, let me play that together with the pads. All right, now I needed something that can give me more like a rhythm. I need a simple rhythm, something that can give me a simple rhythm in the song, and that's why I had to introduce something like a harp. Okay, so this harp now gives me that rhythm that I need. Right? And now I also need something else that can give me a fuller ambience. I love ambience a lot. I love ambience a lot. I love soul. I love something that is, that interprets the emotion, that brings out the emotion in the song. Okay, so that's why I had to add like a choir kind of sound, which is this. Okay, so this now feels like, okay, a choir is singing alongside. Let me play that from the beginning again. All right. Okay, that's sounding beautiful already. Okay, now I also added like a horns, a French horn. You see, the melody of the French horn is not exactly as the melody of the strings that I played before. Okay, now this is just to add some form of moving harmony to complement these upper strings here. Now let me play the two together. Are you getting that now? So let me play that together with all that we've added so far. I know you're enjoying that already. All right, so now that's all about the intro. After the intro, the next thing that follows is the verse. So here in the verse, I made use of the pads, and then I had to bring in more like a piano, an E piano, like tines kind of E piano that, you know, I felt helped me to interpret the soul that I needed. Okay, let me play that for you. Okay, so that's the texture of the E piano. I love this so much because it actually complemented this pad here. Right, so now you also need to bring into consideration the vocal. Okay, so you don't need to just pack everything full. You have to make that room for the singer, for the vocalist. From here, I introduced something, you know, like drums. That's where I began to introduce, you know, some simple drum sounds, you know, like a kick kind of. Okay, here is what we have. Okay, right. Then I needed something that can how do I put it, that can be a little bit aggressive, sort of, and that's why I had to bring in some form of staccato strings here. You know, to introduce some kind of rhythm. Dun, dun, da, 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 dun. Okay, you understand? So that actually introduces something like a rhythm into the music. Okay, let me play everything together so you can have an idea of what we're talking about. All right, so that's how we continued up to the chorus. Now the chorus, I like to make it a bit bigger than the verse, right? And if you observe, you see that this music is growing, it's progressive. I don't like the music to be flat, you know, all from the beginning to the end, just like that. I like it to be progressive. Now coming to the full chorus, I had to, you know, introduce some extra things, extra percussions, like here we have a hit. All right, so this particular hit you're hearing is not one sound. These are two sounds that I layered. One is the snare, which is very light, and then a tom, Okay, so two of them put together gave me that stronger hit, and that has an attack. All right, so playing the chorus all together, we now have this. Okay, so after which I had to introduce an interlude, because I didn't want the second verse to come in immediately after this particular chorus here. Okay, so I had to introduce an interlude, which is a part of the chorus that we repeated. But then I introduced something. I introduced like a choral sound, like a choir, a quiet tone or sound that gave the leading, which was not as the part of the chorus. I don't know if you're getting that. It wasn't part of what just played as the chorus. Now, my reason here is because there is no vocals at this interlude, so I needed something that can take the place of the vocal, that can take the place as the first or foremost instrument. Okay, so let me play that interlude for you. All right, so what actually made that difference is here. Right, so all together. Wow, beautiful, right? So we now entered the verse again, which is a little bit more active than the first verse where we were coming from. Okay, so this particular verse is a bit, more active than the former verse. So we maintained our percussion. We maintained our percussion idea. All right, we maintained our percussion idea with the pad, the piano, and the strings, to just keep the ambience intact. And now going to the biggest part of the song, and I had to introduce I had to introduce some stronger percussions and other instruments that gave that strong active ambience that I need. Okay, now the first thing I added here is like a bang, what I call a bang. Can you hear that? I introduced the bang and now looked for some form of percussion that can give me make that particular chorus or make this particular segment of the music more active. All right, so I now looked for another percussions that will make this particular part of the music active, which is this. Can you hear the rhythm? Ch 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 ch. All right, okay, so together with our some extra percussions, I added some toms, some low toms that gave me some form of attack and more aggressive approach there. I hear that this is more like a low tom, like a floor tom. All right, to just give me that extra rhythm there. Okay, together with our pad, the piano, the strings, and then the staccato had to come in here to give me a stronger attack, which is like a vamp. Can you feel the rhythm? Putting into consideration the progression of the song too. Okay, Now I had to bring in, we have our symphony, the harp, the French horn, and then that's our choral tone. And now as a transition, I have these cymbals here. I had these cymbals here. But this cymbal alone is quite light. I needed something that have some form of aggressive feel that can roll in that chorus. So this is what we have here. Okay, to complement this cymbal. Can you hear that? Okay, so everything put together now gave us that big entrance into the big part of the song, which is the last chorus. Alright, now from there we'll now go to the end part of the song where I removed every form of percussions, kick, bangs, everything. I just had to mute all of those just to have that solemn form of ending. Let me play that for you. Okay, so this is how actually I built this song, I produced this song. I believe this is very helpful for you when you're making a beat, when you're making a gospel beat or a worship song or a slow solemn kind of song like this. These are the things I consider, these are the things I put into consideration. If this video was very helpful for you, please do well to subscribe, share so that other people can also, get to learn or embrace the value in this video. And do well to drop your questions and comments in the comment section. I'll go through that and then answer the questions in details. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I love you. Have a nice and beautiful time.